Welcome to the Filmistines, the podcast where we discuss all things movies. Join us as we dive deep into the latest releases, revisit classic films, and explore the art of cinema. Whether you're a film fanatic or just love a good flick, we've got you covered. From Hollywood blockbusters to indie gems, we'll be breaking down the storytelling, cinematography, and everything in between. So grab some popcorn, sit back, and get ready for some cinematic magic. If you like what you hear, please consider subscribing to our Patreon at patreon.com/filmistines. We offer tiers at the $1, $5, and $20 level, where the $20 tier grants the ability to request films for future episodes. This is the Filmistines, where movies are more than just entertainment, they're an experience.
They're an experience.
All around you. And we're back with another great episode of the Filmistines. I'm joined today by my flamin' hot host.
Thank you.
And Cheeto-loving girl, Lucy.
That's freaking right. All Cheetos, any Cheetos, we don't Cheeto discriminate here.
Puffs.
The little paws, the ball ones, the crunchy ones, the flamin' hot, the not flamin' hot, the popcorn, anything, everything goes.
All right.
Especially my favorite Cheetos, which are not sold here. Well, I guess they are sold here in Mexican stores, but favorite Cheetos are from Mexico. They're called Fangs, and they're shaped like fangs. And they got this little spice, and it's so good. Might be at your Walmart if there's enough Hispanics in your area. You know?
Yeah, if you live in Texas or something, or New Mexico, or I bet you they do have those all over those gas stations and Walmarts.
Yep.
I'm surprised they don't just carry it in gas stations. That seems like, how gas stations have that exclusive, little bag of chips that you can't find anywhere else.
Yep.
What happened to that? I feel like we used to see more of that, actually.
I wonder if people complained. I don't know. Were they just not selling enough?
Did you ever try the Cheeto Zingers?
Those sound familiar.
They came out when we were in 7th grade, I want to say. And they were delicious. I didn't have very many of them. I think there was a Chipotle ranch one or something. It was a blue bag, I think. They were delicious, and I've never seen them.
Oh, yeah, I tried those. The blue bag looks like it's Cajun and tangy? How the fuck you say that word? Tangy
Yep.
ranch.
Those were good. Those are my favorites.
Yeah, I think I did try those.
Well, today we are talking about the Flamin' Hot movie. Flamin' Hot. Just came out to your streaming services on Hulu and Disney Plus, right?
Yeah, weird combo. Well, and I guess not so weird now because they're, they have the
Fox thing.
Yeah, whatever. Like you buy Disney and you get Hulu free with ads or something.
Yeah.
So I guess not that weird, but you don't have many films that come to both at the same time. I can't think of one that has. So
I cannot either. I think that might have a little something to do with these Fox movies now called Searchlight Productions or whatever. They got rid of the Fox moniker. I don't know what's up with that. I thought Searchlight. I mean, whatever. But I think the kind of like what Tombstone was in the 90s, Searchlight has kind of become the more adulty, dramatic division of Disney movies.
Okay.
Because I don't know if Tombstone is even around anymore. I think that's what it was called. That's what originally distributed Nightmare Before Christmas.
Oh.
Because Disney didn't want to get in bed with that, and so they obviously walked back on that. Yeah, they had such little faith in it, but they basically would rather give Tim Burton all the credit, which is weird in its own right because Tim Burton's not a major player in the making of that, which is, endlessly documented.
Yeah, that's weird.
Long live Henry Selick. Let's go. Yes, I thought it was very weird seeing this launch on both, but after watching it, I'm like, oh, not weird at all, because for, what do you want to call these, kind of semi-biopic-y corporate cinematic universe thing.
Yeah.
It's very, very PG for as far as those go, and not a lot of adult-y talk over the phone and conference calls and shit.
Yeah,
Stuff
yeah.
that would definitely bore a lot of people, especially kids maybe. And I think it's very cool. Very hot, I mean. This movie was directed by a weird individual. Not that she's weird, but that she's making a movie is kind of weird. That I'm not sure if she's made another. Oh no, she's. I
This
think
is
this
her
is her.
debut. Yeah.
Eva Longoria, as we all know her from Desperate Housewives. Of course, I know her from The Deepest of Cuts, The Young and the Restless.
Is that her? Is that before Desperate Housewives?
Not by much. If it
Okay.
is, it might be. I'm not sure.
Okay. Yeah, I know her from Desperate Housewives for sure.
She's a name. I don't really. I guess Desperate Housewives kind of transcends the show itself. Like there's a little bit of just a zeitgeist about that, or was at one time, because there's no reason for me to know this name, Eva Longoria.
Yeah.
But I do. Anyways, yeah, I don't know why I really do.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen Desperate Housewives.
No, I mean she's a name. She's a name. She's done a lot of things. I mean, she's besides being an actress, she was I guess she was very good looking. So she was in a lot of magazines at the time. America's Sexiest Top 20 Women for probably a decade. She was in the top something of something, and I think when actors' names stick out, they often are involved in other things like fundraisings and just kind of other projects involving the community or whatever. So I'm not surprised that a lot of people know her name, maybe without seeing her in anything. And I guess she also produced some episodes in various shows.
Yeah, I think she also directed one episode on Jane the Virgin.
Yeah.
I saw that. That's kind of funny.
Oh, and John Wick.
That's right.
I saw that, and I was like, what?
It's a weird attachment.
That's a weird one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm surprised she didn't continue with that. Yeah, you gotta wonder how these people get attached to certain things. It's weird, because that's a weird attachment. Well, this movie is about the conception of the hot Cheeto, right?
Yep.
I didn't know it was gonna be. I should say, let me back up. After watching the movie, I in my research, I didn't know the conception of the hot Cheeto was like a contentious thing.
What do you mean? I guess I don't know what contentious
people
means.
think this movie's demonstrably false and a lie.
Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, I was reading some. I mean, all the reviews were lies, false, deceiving. I was like, what is going on here?
It's fucking weird. Which I want to, before I forget, I want to say that makes it even weirder that Disney got involved in this.
Mm-hmm.
Because Disney is not, I would say Disney's pretty risk adverse, right?
Yeah.
You can kind of just look at the remake timeline that's been going on in the last few years. They don't want fresh ideas, and I guess if fresh ideas are coming, they're sending them to Searchlight Production Studios or whatever. So, but this is very weird, I think, because this, in a way, starts to challenge a major, one of the biggest food companies in the world. Do they care? Probably not. They're such a staple. They own, a third of your Walmart, Frito-Lay, of course, or PepsiCo, I should say. But it's kind of cool seeing Disney. I don't know what angle they have really to take here. I don't know if they even know. The CEO, does Bob Iger, does he even fucking know what's happening over here at Searchlight? I don't know. You know what I mean?
He gets an email and he's like, they did what?
He's like, it's kind of cool. It's kind of cool. So during the early PR cycles for this movie, PepsiCo had something to say.
Okay.
And there has been this kind of back and forth, I guess, over the last 30 years, mostly the last 20 years since Mr. What's his last name? Main character's last name?
Montanez.
Mr. Montanez's whole TED Talk type thing that he's going around fucking talking and writing books and stuff, and he's trying to slander good old PepsiCo's name. But PepsiCo has adamantly, up until like the last 2 years, denied any of Montanez's claim in inventing the Flamin' Hot powder, slurry, whatever, right? And then apparently in Variety 2 years ago, when the initial PR cycle started out about this, they walked some of that back, saying that we're not in the documentary business, ellipsis. We have no reason to doubt the stories Richard shares about taking the initiative to create new product ideas for the Cheetos brand. It's weird stuff.
Yeah.
That's a weird thing to take back like that. And then I also want to say, if there's so much documentation and demonstrable evidence that he didn't, that some of this other guy supposedly this other guy in the lab, invented the flavor. There's this evidence supporting it. Why did Richard become one of the major directors of Frito-Lay in the marketing department and product department if he didn't have some kind of major hand in inventing something?
Yeah, that's weird.
I don't see the evidence supporting his rising through the ranks. I just see people trying to poo-poo on his claim. You know what I mean? Those two don't add up. I don't have the records, of course, around Richard, but
right.
It's a little weird that you wouldn't think that's a little suspicious, right?
Yeah. Yeah, no, definitely. I saw an interview he did with ABC News, and he was pretty much praising the company. How glad he was, perseverance, all that good stuff that was kind of in the film. And the interviewer asked him, how do you feel about all these like false accusations that people are making about you, that you didn't come up with this? And he basically said, no one will ever know all the hard work I spent in the kitchen with me and my wife, me and my family. So I can say what I want to say. I can say whatever I want, and people are still going to come at me. So, that's all I'm going to say. No one knows the effort I put in.
It's weird stuff.
It's super weird stuff.
Who do you think comes up with ideas for a company? The company doesn't just come up with them. Individuals come up with them.
Yeah.
It's really not a collaborative effort or I should say, ideas don't start in a collaborative effort. They have to start from an individual's mind.
Yeah, one individual said that one thing, and then boom, brainstorming session, and then you put it in a little box and you wrap it with a bow and it becomes perfect. But that one individual started it.
Especially when it comes to something like a flavor that does not have a lot of moving parts to it, right? Every single family on the planet comes up with their own flavors,
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird. It's weird stuff.
I also want to point out that he started at Frito-Lay in 1976. I don't know what time it was in the movie, but he became a machine op within 1 year of starting. And so I think it's kind of fun that they embellished his poorness. I kind of like that for the movie, If it's hard. What do you say?
I just said, I have the dates here if you're interested on what the movie says.
What does the movie say?
So he started in 1982. Yeah, that's when he started the application, and he gets hired. And it basically ends with 1992. So 10 years. He was a janitor in the film.
Yep. He was a machine op for about 10 years, in fact.
Oh.
He started when he was 18 at Frito-Lay.
Wow.
Yeah, so they embellish the poorness a little bit, right?
Yeah,
Which is fun because this movie is not a documentary, right? It's got a lot of personality, and it's actually got a surprisingly amount of personality because of the, no offense, but kind of B-tierish actors and B-tierish director, right? but it's got a lot of you know, poppy kind of fun ideas happening here.
Yeah.
And knowing that it's a very meta kind of angle that they've taken in that way, and I really appreciate that. Yeah, they say the powder, the Flamin' Hot powder, was invented around 1989 by McCormick Seasoning, and then he's claiming that he invented it around the same time, I guess. I don't know exactly how long the development on his side was, but I think it hit the market in 1992 or something like that.
Okay.
And so all the dates are kind of mixed up. They don't add up, and it's just kind of funny that it's not a huge deal. Obviously, this is not some Pentagon shit, right?
Yeah.
There's not nothing.
Yeah, nothing.
It's just a fucking flavor
It's
debate.
just some chips.
Yeah, but it's kind of funny that it's not just completely, documentable. Because
Well, I do want to add that in the film, he does, he promotes his chips to try to prove that it's a good idea. And then when they do the mass production of the chips at Frito-Lay, he tries one of the chips. He tries one of the Cheetos. And he says, well, it's not Judy's, but it'll work, or something like that.
Yeah.
So even then,
it's kind of a slick nod.
Yeah, he's not claiming it.
Yeah.
They're not claiming that he did. It's his recipe right there.
He's claiming that it's his idea.
Yeah, he just proved that, there's a Hispanic community that wants hot stuff on the chips.
Yeah. And I don't know what the harm would be in, letting him have the claim to fame. He's already got the job that you gave him because of probably that.
Yes.
He didn't get that job for just being a good machine op, I promise you. He did something really amazing and helped Frito-Lay, man. And it wasn't just slinging the new chip, like he does in the movie.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Bob Ross non-documentary, non-biopic Paint. No one's claiming anything. I don't think they advertise this as, Richard invents a new chip. I don't know. I saw the trailer. I didn't get that vibe.
Yeah, and I think there's a common understanding that the original idea of something is always going to be better than what the mass market gets.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's pretty obvious because you need to standardize and normalize everything you can to be able to produce the product perfectly every single time, So there, you need to eliminate basically any variable that has any standard deviation, basically.
Yeah, I think people just took that one statement from Frito-Lay and ran with it and are now accusing him of being a liar, I guess.
Yeah, people need to slow down, first of all, and watch the movie what's happening. It's a very hyper-realistic look at this scenario, so of course it's not going to be 100% factual or whatever. It's going to be, however you want to look at it, it's going to be embellished and made fun because it's going to be made fun because it's who's making it, Disney's producing it, whatever, and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also not, whether it's Eva or some of the producers, they understand the source material enough that it's a fun product. And so they made a movie to kind of reflect that.
Yeah.
And so that's very cool. That's very cool. I'm impressed a little bit by this movie. It's got lower scores than I would guess too on Letterboxd. It's sitting around like a 3.2, I think. And that's comfortable. That's a fine space.
Yeah, that's not too bad.
But compared to things like Air and Blackberry, haven't seen Blackberry yet. But Air it's similarly on the same level of quality, but for different reasons. But Air is also sitting at like a 3.8. It's just a little weird. It's a little weird.
Yeah, I think people are they're stuck on that. They're stuck on the getting lied to, I guess. No one's lying to you, by the way, but I guess you feel lied to. So that's gonna, make you feel some sort of way. But
Yeah, it's kind of
Your
a good.
feelings aren't fact.
No, and nothing really is. Like you kind of. Isn't it fun to be challenged?
Yeah.
And when did everyone become such a corporate sympathizer? you know,
Yeah.
like, okay. I mean, I guess that's fine. You look stupid when you say all these things online about either of them, Richard or Frito-Lay. Being on either side is kind of, you look a little silly.
And it's
without I guess saying a bunch behind of what you're saying. I mean, you don't look silly from taking sides necessarily, but what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say it was scrolling and scrolling and scrolling of I didn't even read how people actually felt about the movie.
Just that it was a fib.
It was just lies.
And so one of my favorite scenes in the movie is, I think, another good example of one of many good examples of the kind of almost caricature nature of the movie, which I saw some people bitching about the stereotypes too. The stereotypical kind of ringleader black guy that never gets his dues, the cholos and everything, which is funny, because stereotypes are funny. I'm sorry, but they are funny, and stereotypes are there for a reason, of course. But I think it's when Richard basically first starts in the movie, when he goes to the cafeteria, and they treat it's so funny. It's so good. Who came up with that? Did Eva come up with that? Because
that's clever.
It's clever, and she needs to be making movies. Apparently, they treat it like they're in a prison, and that each division within the factory is almost like different prison gangs, and that they're trying to, and there's like kind of this kind of respect between each other, where you don't step on each other's toes and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, he explained it like high school in the cliques.
Kind of like high school, yeah, similar too. But I think especially here, it's calling on the prison card, because who are the most famous prison gangs? The Mexican prison gangs. The many of them. But that's, when you think of prison gangs, if you're not thinking Mexican, some kind of Mexican gang, I don't know if you've ever seen a prison movie or something, because it's them, some kind of Cholo-esque Mexican gang, or the skinheads, the Nazi bald tattoos, Nazi iconography on their body and stuff. It's them. You know what I'm saying? Do you feel the same way?
Yeah.
Which I loved, because, a lot of their group was Hispanic, and they're kind of saying that. And yeah, of course, it's a lot like the cliques in high school too. I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah, I have too many favorite scenes in this movie that I didn't even write them down. But I like the intro a lot, when he's a kid and his mom gives him a bean burrito. And I mean, that just kind of hits with you. Or I guess it hits with me, coming from a Mexican background, going to school here in the U.S. when you're like the only Mexican kid in your class, especially here in Mississippi. And you get made fun of when you bring weird shit. When you bring your weird spicy candy, it's like, what is that? What are you eating? And I mean, I never got bullied, but I did get looks, or I did get, like, oh, what the fuck is that? So it was funny seeing that here. But I love that he, his mom gave him that second burrito and was like, here, give this to the person that's making fun of you. And he does, and he makes a business out of it. And it's just so funny. I like that. That was good.
Yeah, I agree. 100% agree.
I don't know whether the story of Richard inventing the Cheeto or not, whatever, the hot Cheeto, I guess, is true or not. It doesn't matter when you're watching this film.
It's not a documentary.
It's not a documentary. It's not claiming anything. And I mean, really, the message behind this whole movie is fucking inspiration, motivation, this feel good, confident
rag to riches.
Yeah. And people are completely missing that, or they're just too angry to watch this and feel good.
A lot of the so-called professional reviews I've seen basically say it's a generic kind of rag to riches, which is a much better take than just being like, it's a fib.
That's true.
You know, if you feel that way, that's fine. Rag to riches probably just don't, that genre or whatever, probably doesn't speak to you. Because, you know, some people, rag to riches or movies are pretty, they can be pretty sappy, of course. They tap into that.
They have to be.
Yeah, they.
You want a feel good movie.
Yeah, but you can do it real dramatically and kind of.
This was dramatic.
Yeah, you know, I wouldn't say this was sap either, because it was a little too playful. You know, it didn't. There weren't very many.
I guess you can have sap and playfulness.
Yeah, so the sappiest parts are probably him and his dad.
Yeah,
which are probably actually some of the best moments in the movie.
Oh, I know, man.
I don't know why their chemistry was so good. They like the way they looked at each other and the glassy eyes and stuff. What's up with that? I don't know who these two guys are.
If any parts made me tear up,
those parts.
It's those parts.
And they balance. They live right on this line of not giving you quite enough to build the proper relationship. We at the same time we have everything we need. We know it's his dad, you know, and we know how hard parents can be, especially parents who, you know, operate their own business and stuff. Because he was working on the grape farm too, right?
Yeah.
The vineyard.
Yeah.
And so you kind of have that immediate touchstone that doesn't need to be further explained, but so things can in a way feel kind of forced, but they're just so natural that they don't need to be. They don't, you know. They're like almost perfect. It's a really good line that lives on because it's like 4 scenes with his dad, and they're real short. There's not a lot of setup there, but it's effective. It really is. And then you know, like when she was like, "I can't tie a tie,"
yeah,
and she's like, "I know someone who does though." And then you know he goes and sees his dad. It's just like, damn, like
yeah. Or when he can't feed them, she's like, "All right, you're taking us over there because you can't feed us."
Yeah,
and he's like, "Fuck."
Yeah. They did a good job here, man. It's impressive, especially for like the nature, the tone of the rest of the movie. You know, because they keep you pretty high with Richard throughout it because he's so fucking positive. You know, and then they throw in these little at the lowest points. Or I guess at the lowest point when he couldn't feed him, we got a little lower with going with his dad. You know, hits us a little bit, right?
Yeah,
and then. At his highest point, when he's getting ready for his talk with Roger, whatever his name is, the CEO of
Enrico,
of PepsiCo, or is he like the president of Frito-Lay? I'm not sure.
PepsiCo.
So at his highest point, then we're then hit with another potential low point, and then it ends up being another high point. It's like, damn, nice turn. They nailed it. And then like again, that glassiness in their faces, I don't know what that is, but they got some good performances out of them.
Yeah.
Next to each other. It's good stuff. Who's your favorite character?
My favorite character? I mean, I think it definitely had to be Richard.
He's good. That's good. Main character, your favorite character? That's awesome.
Main character, favorite character.
Yeah, I like Richard. I like Clarence a lot. And
also kind of like the little kid. I don't know if he had a name, but
the one that was trying the Cheetos?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was cute. He wasn't a favorite, but I liked how he was just a cute kid, you know?
That's good.
And apparently he was TikTok famous. And that's where they found him. Yeah, and then his dad like passed away not too long, I think, after the film or before the film, I'm not sure. But after he had been cast for the movie, the little kid's dad passed away. And I think him and his dad did TikToks together. Damn. Yeah, so that was pretty sad.
That is very sad. Yeah, I definitely think the kids and Judy were the worst in the movie, but they weren't bad enough to take anything away from me.
Yeah, Judy was probably okay.
I was gonna say Judy had one good moment that I liked a lot with her and the candle, and that she was like, she said it's towards the end where she was like, "You think I've been praying for God to just help us? I've been praying for, you to find yourself and to take initiative."
Damn.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Because, they set that up they that's like one of the big setups in the movie is they set up Judy kind of sacrificing her fucking psyche to Jesus or whatever, and she's really not. She's just kind of really being hopeful and wanting to support Richard.
Yeah.
And she's not wishing for the help of God. She's wishing that Richard fucking wins.
Steps up.
Yeah. Which I like. I like that because, it's kind of it's a real stereotype too, but it's also kind of a stereotype with people to just put all their faith in God and just hope for whatever God gives them, that, what God gives them.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, that was good.
That's all really Judy ended up being, I guess. That was her big moment to, tell Richard that she's been there all along for him and she's not, What I can't remember exactly what they said when it was like during the big fight between him and his dad, and Judy was there, and Judy was like, I support him.
Yeah, he was talking, Richard was talking about how the only voice in his head he fucking hears all the time is his dad's voice, criticizing him and telling him he's not good enough and, all these things. And then the dad says something, I don't know what he says, to upset him even further. And then Judy's like, nah, you don't get to talk to him like that. Come on, Richard. Like, the only voice inside your head is going to be mine. Like, screw this guy. I like that they were eating watermelon outside during that.
They were also drinking watermelon.
They were drinking watermelon. I love that. It's just small things like that that make this movie so good. I mean, the black and white scene where he's trying to buy the chocolate for Judy when he's a little kid, and the cashier asks him, do you even have money for this? And he pulls out a wad of money, and then the cops behind him, and then he's like, well, this is how it should have gone if I were white. And it plays that little black and white scene, and it's that's hilarious. That's so clever.
And then
but then he's nope.
gets chased out, or did he get arrested? I can't remember.
I think it like skips ahead to a few years, and he's like running from the cops and gets arrested.
Yeah, okay.
And I mean, the scene where the mom, Judy, puts gum in the shoe because the shoe's fucking falling apart. Like, that's cute. That's clever. And then I think, now that I think about it, one of my favorite, I guess it's a scene, I don't know. It's when they show us the time lapse of the years inside the warehouse. And like you see the 1980 whatever on the floor, it's painted on there, and then he's mopping, and then you see the next year like rotating on the machine, and then the next year.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. I like that. I don't know many movies that have done that.
No, I can't think of any.
I mean, it's just so fun. How can you not like this? It's a fun movie. It's funny. It's got your tropes. Okay, call them stereotypes. All right, that's fine. Stereotypes are funny, like you said.
They're the best.
They're hilarious.
We need to embrace the stereotype a little bit more. You should be proud of who you are.
You got this little kid eating a burrito made out of beans, and then, the little fucking bully calls him a beaner, and it's hilarious.
Yeah.
And
then he tries it.
A
scene later, and he fucking falls in love.
Yeah.
That's... Everybody's had that happen to them, basically. Ooh, what is that? And then they try it, and their whole fucking world is changed. There's a paradigm shift. Food can't... Nothing causes a paradigm shift with an individual more than food, It's like, what else is out there, You just got to find the right thing, and it's not hard. I promise. You just got to open your mouth.
Yeah, now everybody loves, tacos or whatever.
Yeah, no one's ever going to shit on Mexican-esque food anymore.
Yeah.
I don't know when that changed, but it's always been like that in my life. People crazy about Mexican food out here. There's more Mexican restaurants than fast food restaurants out here.
Yeah.
It's crazy shit.
It is crazy. I have two favorite dialogues that were said. First one is when he's talking about the resume, and then he's like, man, Judy made me these things called resumes. And he's like, how can something not work? That sounds so French. That was so funny.
That was funny.
And then towards the end, he says, "We were just a bunch of brown chips on the conveyor belt waiting to get tossed." And I'm like, ah, damn.
I know that quote's a little almost too poetic for the movie, which makes it funny because it's, they don't go overboard with it. That's just one. That's probably the most poetic line in the whole movie.
Oh, and the PhD one. I like that one too. He's like, I got a PhD, poor, hungry, and determined.
Yeah.
I was like, damn, that's clever.
That's good stuff.
That's good stuff. I want to pivot back to Eva Longoria for a second. So she was born in Texas, and her whole family's from Texas. And I guess they were Mexican, like, her ancestors were Mexican in the sense that it was part of, Texas was part of Mexico, and then it got annexed into the U.S. And then she doesn't speak, or she didn't when she was younger. She didn't speak Spanish. She didn't learn to speak Spanish until she was an adult. And then the Spanish she did learn was Spain Spanish until she married her husband, and he was Mexican. I don't know where he's from, but she started learning, I guess, Mexican Spanish. So I don't know how I feel about her claiming to have these Mexican roots. She identifies as, well, there's a few articles that says she identifies as Mexican American, and then there's some that she says she identifies as a Texican, which I would understand that a little bit more than a Mexican American. But it just made me think about how hard it is to identify in this country. I don't know where I'm going with this, but I guess it made me think about the quote she said in an interview.
So she was born in Texas?
Yes.
But her heritage comes from when Texas was still part of Mexico.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of one of these scenarios where, or at least for where she was born, as far as her so-called nationality, she's she's like 90% American, 10% Mexican. Where are her parents from? Are they
like, her parents are from Texas, their parents are from Texas, then from Mexico, Texas, you know?
It's silly.
It's silly. Yeah.
She's
so
American.
So in the quote, she said, "When I got hired, I knew my superpower would be knowing my community. So I feel like this is an opportunity to show the world Mexican American community in a way that they've never seen it. Not villainized, not demonized, not attacked. We're not narcos. We're so much more than that. And this was a love letter to the Latino community. Even the cholos and the gangbangers are humanized and complex and family oriented."
I don't know about complex, but they are humanized and they're fun.
I just thought it was a weird thing for her to say, especially when she's,
It is weird. Those things are, I think, always going to be weird to me because you can't pretend. You can't sit there and tell me, say, you're black and you identify as black, whatever. You identify that you have been profiled, kind of whatever, prejudiced against, been prejudiced against, prejudiced against and everything. And then say you identify more with some community in Africa, right? You identify, you're like, that's however you want to kind of look at it, whether that's your motherland or where your heritage is at and everything. But I mean, the reality is you have much more in common with everyone around you in your literal community, whether they're white, Mexican, Asian, Russian, right? Than anyone in that whole fucking country in Africa. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like that, where you just kind of have no idea what you're talking about. Like Eva, you are a Texan. That's what you are. Just like I am a Mississippian, a Memphian, maybe even,
Not me.
Not you. It's kind of like how I've talked about with you, how every single day you're becoming less Mexican. You may be Hispanic by trade, right? Because your mom and dad are Hispanic, so you have it's just, and that's part of your complexion, right? Your nice complexion. But every single day you are becoming more, even though you were born in Mexico there for 5 or 6 years, whatever. Every single day that slips by, you are becoming more American, percentage, because you've been here longer. I was born in Florida, but I'm not a Floridian,
Yes.
As much as I'd love to be a methed up Floridian, I'm here in Mississippi. I've been here for almost just over 20 years, right? So I am undeniably, 75% Mississippian, and then, some other small percentages everywhere. And in fact, a large percentage of me lives within Starkville. I have that kind of culture in me now, right?
Yeah.
We have all these microcultures part in us, right? It's kind of silly to just claim that you're one of a major collective when we all fucking know, and we will die on the hill if it's convenient for us. We will die on the hill to stand up for individuality. But you're when you say shit like that, you're completely neutering yourself,
Yeah.
She is a Texan of wherever the fuck she's from, and her streets, whatever street she's from, that's her fucking place. You know what I mean? And you need to be proud of that. It's kind of ironic that she would want to collectivize this whole fucking thing when the big takeaway of this movie, I think, is to be proud of who you are and where you come from.
That's hilarious.
You know what I'm saying?
That's hilarious. Yeah. It's a great point. And what got me on this quote, she said, like, how presumptuous. She said that she's showing the world how, I guess Mexicans have never been seen before. What does that mean? Mexicans, and especially, I guess Mexican Americans is what she's trying to say here. Mexican Americans are your fucking dreamers. You have movies like, like La Bamba. How that's fucking inspirational right there. You have, Selena. You have this great film that I don't think I've finished, but it's called Underwater Dreamers, and it's about these these kids. They build a robot out of like shit from Home Depot, and then they beat like all these people, these like fancy MIT people, and they create a robot that can move underwater. And then you have your shows like George Lopez,
which is probably the most popular and famous show ever to happen on Nick at Night.
And you're telling me they're not family oriented, and they're not, who's demonizing George Lopez?
He sort of demonized himself. Did you ever see his hand at late night, like a late night talk?
No, I don't know if I have.
It's rough, man. I love George Lopez, but that's not him.
And then, I mean, even recent, you have movies like Coco.
And Encanto.
A
little less Mexican, I guess. Was that Colombian?
I think, yeah, I think so. I think you're right.
But to the American, it's kind of the same cut.
That's true.
Yeah, and then you also have people like Alejandro Gonzalez Inarritu. Okay, he's got a crazy last name. You'd have to see it.
All right.
He's the guy who directed Bardo, semi-autobiographical.
Okay, yeah.
And he basically gets into him spending so much time in America and living a life and becoming very successful in America has backfired on his roots, and now his Mexican roots and origins and place where he grew up at reject him. That starts to build this case of maybe I don't want to be proud of where I come from.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, kind of shits right in the face of what Eva might think. Which is,
I mean, yeah.
That movie's Bardo, by the way. I'm not sure if I said that. Great film. Did not.
And then you have people like Selena Gomez. Where's Selena Gomez from? Texas. Where's her family? Where's her family from? Texas. Is she proud? I don't know. Did you even know that Selena Gomez is Hispanic? I guess besides the last name?
No, I wouldn't. Like, she doesn't really have the Hispanic complexion.
Yeah. So, I mean, what about her? You know, she still comes from a Hispanic background,
Yeah.
but she's nothing into the Latino community. She's not a spokesperson, but she's, I guess she's part of it. If Eva Longoria is, so is Selena Gomez. And is she, demonized?
Only by Haley
By
Bieber.
Haley Bieber. I don't know. It was just a very silly thing for her to say.
I think so, yeah. And I get she's not a proper, filmmaker. She doesn't come from, this is her directorial debut. So she wants to put on a good face. She wants to have good PR and stuff. She's very happy and proud of the things she's created, which she should be.
Yes.
But she's missing a little bit, and this happens, I think, all the time with works of art, especially with works of art where you're not the only player in making it. There were how many people on the production of this? How many major players were in this? At least probably 30 people calling big shots, right? Her being one of them. She may be calling some of the shots you see on the screen and stuff, but everything else, writing, cinematographically, she's not necessarily, But I think she may be just, I don't know why I'm trying to defend her. I don't really give a fuck. But she may be getting caught up in just the whole it being a Hispanic production kind of thing. And she's trying to, I don't know, maybe this is a little cynical, I guess, too. Maybe she's trying to appeal to the lowest common denominator of Hispanics just in general, It's like, and then that kind of starts to backfires on herself, It's just like you're not appealing to, you're losing, when you do that kind of thing, I think you're losing some of your message when you say stuff like that, because this movie is about, like I said, being proud of who you are,
Yeah.
Pursuing your dreams, trying to make something of yourself. Collectivizing it like that is never good. I know, and it's like good when it comes out of your mouth, but when you think about it for 5 seconds, it trivializes everything.
Yeah.
Because it's just not, people in Mexico City. I mean, I think you told me before that some Mexicans, like racism within Mexican communities where everyone's Mexican is insane, or can be.
Oh, yes. Oh my gosh. In the same street, you could have a Mexican that is of darker complexion than you. That dude is toast. Everyone makes fun of him. I mean, it's crazy.
Which is obviously terrible, but it's, you just can't collectivize something like that. You can't collectivize anything anyway other than collectivizing that we are all individuals. You know what I mean? You have to come at it from, you got to come at it. It's a hard angle to really come at, to tackle, and to do it smartly, really. And I don't want to say tastefully, because she's not being weird about it. She's trying to be uplifting, very gentrified and generic, and it's I know it comes from a good place. I'm sure it does. I'm sure has a fine heart, right? But she comes off like it comes off like it's just kind of corporate talk, I guess. It doesn't feel genuine, I guess.
It feels like, and that this might be very bold of me to say, but it almost feels like she sees these people as, villains and demons, and like no one's even claiming that, cholos or gangbangers are, like, who is that to you? These people are out here in the film, they're out there dealing drugs. They're drug dealers. I mean, okay, that's being in a gang, but I guess, I don't know. No one's claiming these people are bad. I wouldn't have even said that they were in a gang. They're just, a neighborhood. They just all live in the same neighborhood and they're dealing drugs to get by,
Yeah.
So you're kind of putting them in this box by saying this. Are you the racist one?
Yeah, she's kind of talking for everyone else, isn't she? Because, when you see a cholo, you're not, they're a fucking human being. They might have kids at home, like Richard, and they're going to do what they can to provide. And some communities force these types of people to make these kind of decisions because they can't get by any other way. You know, these people are not 9 times out of 10. These people are not bad.
Yeah.
Especially if it's drugs. Jesus Christ,
Yeah.
make the drugs legal.
I didn't see any of these guys, rape a girl
or beating someone up.
Yeah,
or
beat
what?
someone up.
They're providing a product to a market that demands it.
Exactly.
What's wrong with
Just
that?
like Frito-Lay.
Exactly.
Exactly.
And just as bad for you. Like the drug itself.
Shit, yeah.
And the empty calories. What's up with everyone calling a Cheeto an empty calorie online? Why is that the thing to call it?
An empty calorie?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Just air and chemicals, I guess.
Like everything else?
Like everything else. I don't know. I don't know what that is about.
That's weird.
It's got calories. They're
See-
gonna pack some pounds onto you if you eat a lot of them too.
If I'm gonna label something empty calories,
Celery.
it's gonna be celery. Exactly.
lettuce.
Lettuce? Yeah. Not Cheetos. Cheetos are far from empty
Yeah.
calories. I do wonder if the hot Cheeto market spiked any.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of an interesting thought. I would suspect yes, because the internet is fucking insane.
That's
This
true.
movie is getting a little bit of hype. There's a little bit of hype around this movie.
Yeah, I already told all my family to go watch it. I think.
It's kind of a fun take on, like, and I'd say Tetris probably had a little bit of this kind of family friendly fun nature to it. And I don't feel like that's very common in these corporate cinematic universe type movies / biopic movies. I think there's a very melancholic kind of nature to a lot of them, or just dry and very dad movies, right?
Yeah.
Air, very dad movie, right?
Yep. Yes.
And it's fun. I wish Eva and other PR guys, maybe they are, whoever's going about this, would face the music and what this movie is trying to tell you, and it's be proud of who you are and where you come from. And if I was Eva, I would have. That's an easy thing to run with, you know.
Yeah, sell the shit out of that.
Yeah, and that can speak to everyone. You can speak to everyone without calling everybody out, you know. And she does it in 2 different ways. She calls all the Hispanics out by this is your movie. And then she calls everyone else out about, not all Hispanics are gangbangers and cholos. It's like she just called everyone out. I know she didn't mean to. I'm sure she didn't, but she might have. I don't know, but I doubt it.
I guess I'm
sure she's fine.
a gangbanger now. Whatever that means.
You gotta get your button up and only button the first 3 buttons.
The first.
And then maybe have your collar up, sunglasses, and a beanie over your head. You already got a beanie.
That's true. I'm almost there.
And you gotta have your chin up a lot.
And then I gotta play that song. You ever heard that song?
I don't know.
The Like a Cholo song.
And then
I think you're
I've
like
heard
side to side. And
That's
you
funny.
dance like a cholo.
I'm gonna call you Shorty.
All right.
Nah, Shorty doesn't work anymore. I'd have to call you.
That get banned too?
No, Shorty just means a girl who likes having fun. I guess that's a Shorty.
When did that change? Jesus
No,
Christ.
10 years ago.
Oh fuck.
Like that girl's a Shorty. You never heard that?
I thought that just meant she was
A short girl.
a short girl.
No, I mean It's like not. It doesn't have. I know. Me saying her. She likes just getting around. Having fun, doing
She's
sexy
a
things. Huh?
It says she's like a hoe.
She's like a hoe, but it's like I think it's a little bit better connotation when you say someone's a shorty.
She's a happy hoe.
She's a happy, nice hoe. She's a good bad girl.
Good bad girl.
That's what a shorty is.
What is that saying? A freak in the sheet? No. Yeah, that one. You know which one I'm trying to say?
No.
Yeah, I don't know. A lady in the streets, but a freak in the sheet. That one.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. Except the shorty is, she's freaky all the time.
Oh.
But she's nice.
She's nice about it.
You like being around her.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's at least fun to be around. Maybe not nice. You can have friends and be fun to be around and not be nice, right?
That's true.
Because sometimes that's funny. But yeah.
But they can be tall?
I guess they can be tall.
Oh.
I've never. That's a funny thing to run into occasionally. Not a lot of girls are very tall, so.
That's true. Very true.
And then I guess on top of that, are the guys who are saying that, or girls who are calling girls shorties, are they attracted to tall girls? You know, that also needs to happen. You need to be there needs to be a tall girl, and that the guy or girl who are saying that also needs to be attracted to tall girls and guys, or tall girls. Can't call a guy a shorty. That doesn't make sense.
But they call them short kings now. But I guess that's just literally short guys.
They call them short kings, like
attractive
short guys.
I don't know. I thought shorties were short girls, so don't ask me. Don't ask me. Nothing.
That's funny. Yeah, shorty's probably been around for a long time, but I feel like it's taken. I feel like that's a super popular word here in the last 10 years or so. It's probably been around since like the 80s.
Probably, like everything else.
Yeah, it just takes some time to take over.
Yeah.
What do you think about the factory being so clean? Does that make sense in a food factory?
I don't know. I've worked at, I'm not going to say several warehouses because I haven't, just really one. But we dealt with, just merchandise, product, and it was never that clean.
It wasn't food.
But it wasn't food. So that's a good question. Something tells me it doesn't matter. Something tells me they're still probably dirty.
Yeah, I don't know. Because it seems, I mean, yes, you would want it to be clean, of course, but it seems like that would be hard to keep clean. Even if you had as many janitors or maintenance guys as you did the rest of the staff, it seems like it'd still be hard to keep a place like that clean. Because cleaning's tough work.
Yes.
That was kind of funny. I did like the almost the dualistic montage between Richard and his family and the guys at the lab making the powder, the slurry. Mm-hmm. Thought that was cool.
That was pretty cool. It's funny because you have these, scientists saying all these, big chemical names, and then you have these like Hispanics burning the chili on the stove, ghetto style, I guess, for lack of a better word. But they're both doing the same thing. So I like that.
Yep.
You don't have to be a scientist, you don't have to be a genius to come up with whatever.
Absolutely not.
I also liked, I forgot to mention this, the bits where we have Enrico and the other, I don't know what they were, managers, bosses, whatever. They're in the conference room, and then Richard's like, this is what they said. And then it's like they're speaking all,
oh yeah,
slang, and they're about to like beat the shit out of each other. He's like, okay, but this is how it actually happened.
Yeah, he was like, oh my bad, if you don't speak Cholo, this is what they actually say. Yeah, those were cute. Those were very cute moments.
Yeah, those are so good.
Yeah, and if that isn't the best, those there's like 3 of those bits. If those aren't the best examples of what this movie is, I don't know what you want out of this movie. Like you clearly are looking for a documentary here, and you're just not into this, and that's fine. But you don't. It's just, I don't know. You look weird when you say it's a fib. It's like, I mean, it might be, but
so what?
What do you think about the movie? Because like, there's some really cute elements here.
Yes.
And yeah, sure, it's a generic rag to riches, but you can't. It's kind of a generic story just in its own right. Like the rag to riches thing you can't really get it any other way than someone working hard and succeeding on whatever that is. That's just how it goes.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Saying it's just a rag to riches story also kind of trivializes the genre. And I get it's kind of a sappy genre by nature, but that's what it is. So you kind of need to be ready for that.
Yeah, it's like saying a rom-com is sappy.
So, yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Or
the girl, or the guy always gets the girl. Yeah, they do.
That's what you signed up for.
That's what you signed up for.
Yep. It's just like, I don't know, if you buy a big truck, big dually, I don't know, gas guzzling truck, big diesel truck, I don't fucking know, and you're like, why am I paying so much on gas? It's probably because of the truck you just bought.
Maybe.
You know,
Maybe.
it's like you kind of there's some inherent expectation you should have. You know, don't be expecting to be the greatest thing ever, but you should expect certain things. Like if you're gonna eat a habanero or something, you should expect it to be maybe hot. You know, and don't maybe touch your eyes after you eat it.
What?
Or something like that. You know, like there's this. It may not be as hot as some habaneros, and you may be a little disappointed, right? But you should be. There's some kind of expectation and push and pull right there, right? So
Yep.
it's a little weird. The reception around this movie is a little weird.
Yes, it's crazy. I mean, like I said, I was just scrolling and people were saying the same thing. Same thing. Lies. How dare he? I'm not watching this because it's lies. You didn't even watch it. Why bother posting?
Yeah, and then I don't know if you if you I mean if you think it's a lie, you think it's a lie, and that's just kind of I think it's weird to inherently, without doing any research, to take a corporation's side. That's fucking weird to me. I don't know if it's just because I'm very anti-corporation. I love, some corporations, but I'm very, I want people to have the most antagonistic relationship they possibly can with corporations. If corporations fuck up and you don't like something, you need to not buy it, right?
I think you're just a person that has common sense.
Yeah, maybe. Isn't that the greatest philosophy of all, is to just have common sense and understanding relativism is important, and that there are consequences, and that action requires people and invention requires people, and
Too much.
too much.
You're breaking us. We're broken. Yeah, but my final thoughts on this movie. I loved it. Not the greatest film ever I've ever seen, but it was a nice, feel good movie. I felt good. I felt motivated. I could invent the next Cheeto product, and I think that was the goal. So they met their goal. I cried. Eyes teared up when they should have. So go watch it. Get over yourself. Go watch it. Get over yourself. Rewatch it. If you already watched it and came in with the idea of fib and lies, get over yourself and rewatch it.
Yeah, and then maybe if you are really hung up on that, do some research and just realize how suspicious the whole thing is around Richard and his title, parent title and everything. And it's weirder than it may seem. And if you see yourself siding with the corporations, ask yourself, what the fuck is wrong with you? All right. We need to back it up. And the last thing I wanted to say about the movie, though, is I liked the borderline. I know I said this recently, excuse me for beating a dead horse joke, but I liked that some of the shots we got of the factory were very onboarding-esque, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like it echoed Richard's positivity and excitement really good, like that.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because he was, it's a little cringe to see someone so excited to work, of course, right? Like that.
No.
Because I don't know, maybe it's just a little cringe to see someone excited because you just aren't feeling it like them, so you're like, fuck. It's almost like a cringe of jealousy or something like that.
Okay. It's like, oh, I wish I was that excited.
Yeah, or something like that.
Especially your first few days of work, man. You're applying to jobs. You've applied to so many jobs, and then someone here is giving you an opportunity. You're gonna go in there skipping your step. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I guess at least that's just me.
Yeah, on every production I'm like that.
Yeah.
I can't. I sometimes dread it because I'm sometimes anxious about how things are gonna go. But when I'm there, I fucking love it.
Yeah.
But I liked the that reflection of those two happening throughout a lot of the movie. We see that because I will say something that's hardcore cringe, hard to watch. Ooh, is onboarding videos and the orientation videos and stuff because they're just so produced and stupid. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes. Oh my gosh, I had to do one at work recently.
I had to make one.
Oh wow, even worse.
We made one.
Oh, it was a active shooter. How to deal with it, I guess. Which is funny because I work from home, so God, I hope there's no active shooters here.
Most shootings happen by family members.
Ah, fuck.
So maybe it's statistically more likely to happen.
But yeah, that one was, oh my gosh. You had people like fake screaming from the shot. It was funny.
Yeah.
It was funny.
It's
Those
funny.
Are cringe.
It is funny, and it feels very. It's so. I don't know. It makes me think of those like old 50s, 60s PSA videos. Have you seen those online on YouTube?
I think so.
You should
yeah.
look those up because they get into some very interesting things about. And some people make fun of them. There's like this series on YouTube of people basically recreate or writing skits that are in that style, but very slanted towards something. Like one was talking about if your wife isn't doing her wifey things, if she isn't cooking and cleaning, and how to correct her.
Oh
And so
my
it goes. You know that voice?
Yes.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Okay, good. And it's just they're fucking hilarious because they feel so authentic to, the time period, the 50s and stuff. It's awesome. Why'd I bring that up? I don't remember. Yeah, fun movie. What do you give it on your letterbox?
I would give it.
Is this above Mario?
No.
Yeah, okay.
I think Mario I gave a 4.
Yeah, Mario is a special movie for you.
Yeah, Mario's a special movie. I did like it a lot though. I'm gonna go 3.5. Maybe I'd have to rewatch it to, for sure give it one of those. But if you can make me tear up several times throughout the movie, you're getting that extra half a point. You know what I'm saying?
Even though it's kind of that movie, like it's, there's.
Even though it's that movie,
Okay.
I like when you play with my emotions.
Okay. Yeah, probably. It sits around a 2 for me, probably.
It's so good. I give it a 2.
Or just wait till I give something a 4 or a 5.
Oh my gosh.
I'm gonna go on and on about it. Like Bardo, that movie was like a 4.
We didn't even finish it.
I don't need to finish it. That's a 4.
Yeah, that movie was weird. Good.
That movie was my kind of movie.
Weird.
Can you
good?
tell?
Yes. Oh my god, yes. The movie started and I could tell.
I want you to start saying that.
When the movie starts?
When we start a movie, I want you to say that if it's my kind of movie or not.
Sisu, definitely your kind of movie when it started. As it went on, I'm like, okay, I don't know about this, but when it started, definitely your movie.
Yeah. I like the moody stuff.
Yeah. I'm like, I'm bored and depressed. Yes, his type of movie. I'm going to have a panic attack and, have an existential crisis. It's your type of movie.
Let's go. Cute movie.
Thank you for watching it with me.
Oh, thank you for watching it with me.
You're welcome.
I say that.
We should have watched it with some hot Cheetos. Just saying. Next film is going to be Takis. I'm calling it.
They're going to call him...
Fuego.
That's what I was about to say. They're called Fuego. That's so funny. Yeah, we need a movie about the invention of the Taki flavor now. I want the Taki flavoring on the Cheeto.
Yes.
There needs to be a crossover.
Yes.
But, if they do that... Taki might be a Frito-Lay product, actually. Not sure.
Knows?
But they're going to realize that they're going to realize the Taki flavor is better than the Flamin' Hot flavor. So they're just going to abandon it.
Yep.
But they could keep that limited from us, The Zingers, we were talking about the Cajun Ranch ones, or whatever the fuck it was, way better than any other Cheeto. And they're fucking gone. Our hint for the next episode is the sky.
The sky?
The sky. Just look up. Just do it.
Ah.
And that's a wrap for today's episode of the Filmsteins. Thanks for tuning in and joining us on our cinematic journey. We hope you enjoyed our discussion and gained some new insights and perspectives on the world of movies. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast on your favorite platform, especially Patreon at patreon.com/Filmsteins. And follow us on social media for more film-related content. We love hearing from our listeners, so if you have any feedback, suggestions, movie recommendations, or book recommendations, please feel free to reach out to us. Until next time, keep watching and keep loving the magic of movies. This is the Filmsteins signing off.